Hey, welcome to the Hotty Toddy chat, brought to you by HottyToddy.com. My name is Jack Couch.
Sports editor Adam Brown.
And intern Ryan Hunt.
Today we're going to look at the course of Ole Miss baseball this past weekend, going against Florida, and then having the game Tuesday night against Southern Miss. No contest due to the field conditions, and then also looking back at the women's basketball run to the Sweet 16. And today on the Ole Miss campus was pro day for the Ole Miss Rebels, as 11 players showcased their talents to NFL scouts and coaches.
Well, let's start off with baseball, like always, because it feels like the most prominent thing around campus.
Yep.
And let's start with the no contest. Everybody's talking about that. That's all I see on social media. That it's theoretically our second no contest. Same with the LA Tech. And it's just, that's a brand new field that we have for the Mississippi Braves. That's
Right.
what they're playing on. That's what it is. And when you put new sod in like that, and you have all these storms, tornadoes coming through, as everybody should know that's coming through Mississippi right now. We played a day after all those storms came through. Yes, the field was drained. Yes, all that. But when you have those winds and rains come and pick up that sod, it's just going to cause problems for the field in general. So that's kind of where that lies for it. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, you got another give me game. And it's a no contest. Like, nothing happens. They'll either get rescheduled or not count. So that's where that stands on that. And just so people understand kind of what was behind it and what was going on. Secondly, let's start talking about this weekend and another really rough home game for the Rebels. And
it was a weekend where, the past 2 weekends, Ole Miss has played the number 1 and 2 teams in the country, basically, without saying LSU yet, which we all know LSU is going to be
just as good.
It's good as both teams that we just played. But what stood out to me about Florida was you have a pitcher and a two-way player in Jack
Yeah.
that played his heart out. Reminded me of Stephen Head, being a first baseman and being a pitcher and just
Really crushing it.
yeah.
I'm totally right there with you. And so we looked good all weekend. We were making way better contact than we were, which is all I really was hoping for this weekend because Florida's it's crazy how good they are. They could be just hot, but they are a phenomenal team that we played against. Mm-hmm. And again, going back, this is number 1 and number 2 team. So I'm not throwing on the red lights and sirens yet. I'm looking for, we have Texas A&M this weekend, which we should put a way better contest with them.
We've got to have 2 this weekend.
Yes, we do have to. We have to do something this weekend. We have to figure something out. And then we have, coming up, we have
Arkansas, then
Arkansas, and then State. And Arkansas, State, Georgia, Missouri, those are teams that we can all beat.
Yeah.
I mean, those are beatable teams that we are able to perform against. And that's why the sirens are going off. We have very sweepable series later in our season. And that's fine. And that's what I'm looking forward to is that we're not going to be so bad that we're all, sirens and we're terrible and we sold our souls last season to make it to make the national championship. No, we've had a rough go of it, the first ones. This is why we have the hardest schedule in the nation. And now we can move forward and go, hey, we played the number 2 and number 3, or the number 1 and number 2 team in the nation. And we'll play the number 3, arguably the number 1 team, also with LSU. Mm-hmm. And we'll be like, hey, those are the top 3. This is what it takes to beat it. Let's go on and win some games against some chumps like Georgia and Missouri.
And I think you saw a real improvement this week. I think from where we were before, now you put bats on balls, and we hit the ball real well. But I think the other thing people got to consider is you got a lot of freshmen on this team. You got a lot of people that are new to Ole Miss and new to the community and new to how we do things in the SEC. And so for a kid just last year that was in high school pitching against kids that are just students now.
Joe Schmo, yeah.
To go from SEC play against a guy on Florida who's hit 17 home runs now so far this season. That's a huge difference that people got to realize, going from high school to the SEC.
Right.
I think you got to put that into consideration that these kids are getting better every day. These kids are are realizing the moment they're in, and they will get better as the season goes on and as they get more experience under their belt. So when you play a team like LSU, you're going to have that kid ready, that's been in those big moments already and is ready to compete at the highest level.
Well, Ryan, going off your point, I mean, you have pitchers who are playing that pitched in high school last year that a normal season for them were 25, 30 games.
Right.
We're at that point right now with like that amount to go left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's an adjustment, yes. I think you'll see a difference this weekend when Grayson takes that step back into the bullpen,
right.
as you have Xavier Rivas going to Saturday and JT Quinn getting his first start Sunday, and then Grayson learning a different role that in the future he can step back into the weekend rotation and be ready to go.
Exactly. And then you have, on top of that, we got to look at the errors that we've been making. And that's something that we're cleaning up. And I was very good about that. And we had the number one player in the nation with the most errors. And Leje is who it was. And he started playing better this weekend. I felt like he was very much more in his comfort zone. He's like, okay, I've messed up a few times, all this. He could still be the number one leading error maker in the whole league by the end of the year. Right now, with how many errors. He had 10 on the year so far, from what I believe. But he's been able to be like, hey, I'm comfortable now. I understand what this is going to take. I'm able to move forward here, and I'm going to be able to play better. And that's what I saw this weekend from him. Is that's all we could ask for.
For him, I think the game has slowed down
Yes.
considerably to where it's not that fast paced to where
It's back to normal, and he's
Right.
like, oh, this is just baseball. It's just
Right.
It's still baseball. And he had that momentum change that I felt happened this weekend when I was watching. Is that he was like, whoa, hey, look what's going on. I know what's happening. Let's do this. Let's run it. Let's go. And that's what made a difference for me this weekend. Is what I really saw, and I was like, that's what I'm excited that he's able to see the baseball how it is, and not how he's been like, oh, this is the best, top of the league, all of this. He's like, okay, I'm here. I'm obviously starting on a team that's very good. I deserve to be here, and I'm going to play some baseball. And that's what I saw this weekend, which was awesome.
And I think it'll be very interesting to see how he does. That was at home, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be very interesting to see when he goes to College Station this weekend and kind of see how he does in that kind of environment. We know College Station gets very, very loud. They're very passionate fans. So it'll be very interesting to see if he takes a step back or if he takes a step forward this weekend, because, like you said, yeah, he really got in his comfort zone this weekend compared to games past. So I think he'll be a leader on this team. I feel like he'll learn from his mistakes and make improvements. And so it'll be very interesting to see when he goes into a hostile environment and see what he can produce from there for Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then my argument against that is just you look at Vandy and the Vandy Whistlers and all those fans. That is a tough crowd, and I think I understand how A&M is, and they are passionate. A cult down there, some would say, but they're definitely not going to be like Vandy. Vandy is a very, very intense place to be. And that's why I'm excited to go see us at A&M. It's a hard place to go.
It's a hard place to play.
Yeah.
I really think that Vandy's just a way harder spot to be. They're comparable for sure, but I'm excited to see how we perform this weekend versus a not as good Texas A&M team.
Well, I mean, for them, for Texas A&M, they're good. They just play a different pace than everybody else plays at.
Right. That's very true.
To where that can cost them a game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the way that we're hitting the ball, we're still hitting the ball, and with Kemp Alderman stepping up this year, big time.
Huge.
Calvin Harris. It'd be interesting to see how they perform in that ballpark.
Yeah. We really need to talk about how our pitching is going to be very different this weekend. And it's going to be a weird scenario having a person that's never pitched before almost a quarter way into the season. That doesn't happen all the time.
No.
And this is something that he must be feeling some immense pressure right now to perform. And I really hope that we can take a little bit of the weight off with, winning Friday and winning Saturday, and then he'll come in Sunday being like, okay, it's my first start. It's not to win the series. It's not to lose the series. I just got to play my best, see what it's all about, and then perform. And that's what I really hope happens this weekend. But if not, we do have a guy going in for the first time in A&M. And this is a tough, you were saying it too, it's a tough place to play.
It is.
And it's going to be very hard for somebody to do that. It's just something that doesn't happen a lot, and it's something that's very mind-boggling to think about.
I mean, you look at A&M. It's a double-decker stadium.
Yeah.
To where, you have student section on top of you, and
All
it's
the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different.
And I think something that can help his confidence a whole lot is if we get the bats going early. If we can score, if we can get one in the top of the first, that will do immense things for his confidence. It's something that could just help him gain a little confidence, knowing that he's got his the 1 through 9 at his back and with him. And so if we can get the bats going early in that third game, then it'll do huge things for his confidence.
Yeah, but you're right about the fans over in the top deck. I totally was blanking on that. But yeah, those fans are going to be right over you, and it's like being surrounded in it's like a minor league stadium. I mean, that's what this stadium is. It is a massive, just compound of people that are going to be anti-you pitching.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be tough if it comes to a 1-1 series split and it's on Sunday. And that's what might be tough. You're right that we do need to get the bats hot, but the bats need to be hot all weekend no matter what. If we don't keep up, that's our major strength right now is our bats. Until Elliott's back in at 100%, which might not be till the end of April because he'll be on a pitch count when he comes back, we're going to have to be better at batting. Right now, I saw improvements this weekend. I very much saw improvements across the board. Everybody looked better, but still we're making tiny mistakes that are costing us games. You look at somebody reaching for a bat, and not pointing names, but Shania, he's not been doing very well. He reaches for every ball that happens, and he's knocking it right down the middle, or right to the third baseman, or right to the first baseman. He's knocking it where places that he cannot knock it. He needs to either hit it up or wait for his pitch. He's just not being patient enough on the mat or on the base. Like he cannot.
But is it a situation like this? Our offense is trying to overcorrect our pitching performance to where it could be a situation of where now 8 or 9 runs last year, 2 years ago, would win you an SEC game.
Yeah.
Now it's not.
Yeah, and that's also very, very true. Is that we're a team where we have to get going, and I think they all know that we need to bat. And exactly what you're saying, I think we're trying to overcorrect and overcompensate for our lack of pitching currently. And that's what's killing us is everybody's like, I have to get on base. I have to make this hit. And it's not people sitting down being like, okay, I'm going to take this extra pitch, and if I get walked, I get walked. If I go looking, that's fine. And people aren't thinking about it in baseball. They're thinking, oh yeah, I got to get this. This needs to happen. It's not, oh yeah, Moneyball, let's get people on base and win games. No, it's very much, hey, we have to get on base with a hit. Mm-hmm. It's not like people don't walk all the time. We have people walk everybody all the time. Look at our first couple games, our first few series. We walked everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's just something that happens. But the thing is that we're overcompensating at the bats trying to make so many hits. It's unbelievable. Right. And that's the major problem right now. And I could see people reaching for balls that are out of their reach. Gonzalez, Chardonnay, and even a little bit of TJ. TJ's having this problem last year because he was the guy going into the run for it, and he was just unable to make contact. And he's like, I gotta start reaching. I gotta start making something happen. If I don't make something happen, nothing's gonna come my way. This is just a time where we gotta slow down. Be like, hey, my pitch is gonna come, and we're gonna take it. And that's what the grand thing of our team was last year. We were able to just slow it down. We were able to take our pitch and be able to hit all the time. Now I feel like we're trying to make something out of nothing all the time. When that pitch is going to eventually come. That's how baseball works.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And I think you saw it last year too. There were series last year where, wow, we just did not look very good last year. But the older guys, they stepped up. They had a leadership role, and I think Gonzalez, Chatinier, McCants need to do that this year with the younger guys. Need to
yeah.
show them kind of, look what happened last year. We were losing. We got swept by Tennessee. We got dominated by some other teams. And we still won a national championship. We still played amazing at the end of the year.
And you look at the two hot bats that we have with Kemp Alderman and Calvin Harris. Golly, I'm losing my mind. Those two are hitting outstanding.
Outstanding.
I mean, they are almost out hitting everybody in the entire
Country.
league. Yeah, I mean, it's just those are two people that you could be like, look at him batting. Is he swinging for this ball that's over here in the dirt? No. He's looking. He's waiting for his pitch, like baseball. One of those is going to go right down the pipe, and you're going to be able to hit it. And they're able to do that almost every time. And I hope that Mike Bianco's going, hey, Gonzalez, I know that you're one of the best players in the entire nation right now. Look at what Calvin Harris is doing. He's able to make things happen all the time. And you just got to make that connection of, you're completely right, coach. Let me slow my game down. Let me play baseball. Let me stop making something happen and let's make a hit. It's just like what you're saying. You're completely right. People need to take leadership and be like, hey, slow down. And these guys are the same age. It's hard to go to your peers and be like, hey, you're not doing this right, especially when you're on a team.
Right.
But now you just got to look and be like, hey, man, this is what I see in your swing. Let me help you out. This needs to be a team effort of fixing some things up. Just like Elliot. Elliot's at almost every practice right now, and he's able to help all these younger guys with their pitching. Even Xavier Rivas, he's able to go, hey, I've been playing for 3 years. This is what I see. This is what you should do. Let's make that work. And then I can see Daughtery and Rivas, they talk all the time.
Right.
They only want to improve themselves because everybody wants to make it to that next league. And I feel like our team's just not talking about, hey, we need to go here. We need you to come and do this. And this needs to happen. Look what I'm able to do. I'm waiting for my pitches. I'm, doing it all. Just all of it. The pitches you'll go down the pipe eventually.
Yeah.
Just a little rant, but that's what we need to have happen. And you're completely right on it.
Yeah, I agree.
It goes nuts. All right, let's talk about something else. let's stop going on my rant, and then let's talk about Sweet 16 and the rough game against Louisville. It was.
I mean, was it a rough game, or did the girls just hit a patch before the lights came on? It was like what Coach said. We made it as far as we could this year.
Yeah.
The lights came on, it was so bright, and we just took it in and not played basketball.
And I think you saw. I think they walk away not being disappointed whatsoever. They should be incredibly proud of what they did, defeating, in my opinion, the best team in the country in Stanford. And
Second best team in the country.
What people don't understand about it is what's different from the men's tournament is those first 2 rounds you're playing in their home stadium. You're not playing at some neutral location. You're playing. They beat them in Stanford, and so Coach Yo did just an incredible job. And I think the lights came on. Lights were a little bright. They played a great Louisville team, and they put up a great fight to the end. But I think if you're looking at their season as a whole, you walk away with your head held high and smiling and knowing that they did a great thing. But what a great job by Coach Yo this season. I don't think she has not gotten enough credit nationwide for the incredible job she did this season for those girls.
I completely agree.
I do too. I mean, it's one of those situations, like you said, you go into their home and play, and you have to beat them. It's not been since '09 the number 1 seed in the women's tournament has lost at home.
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing, and the lights did get great, and that's something that happens, and they've not been there before. Ole Miss hasn't been there in a long time. 07, right? Yeah. I was about to say 09, so I'm glad I was wrong. But just still, you haven't been there before in a long time. Those girls didn't know what they were expecting going to Seattle. They felt, we're making a Sweet 16. We're going on. Where you have Louisville, a number 5 seed. He's made it the past 2 years.
Right.
They made it to the Elite 8 last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where we made it here. We're exponentially improving every year. This is a program that we're going to have be our cornerstone here at Ole Miss, and we're going to move forward. It's going to be amazing what we did. And the lights did get a little bright, but that's okay. We got to get used to that because we're going to be one of the best teams in the nation soon enough.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Coach Yo will get us there.
Coach
She'll
Yo
be the
will.
cornerstone for that whole thing. I think. I mean, yeah. There's no one else that I think could run the helm better than she can.
She is one of the ones that you look at Lane Kiffin being the portal king. She's going to be the portal queen.
Exactly.
She's going to bring players in and just
She knows.
reload.
Yeah.
And with the five talented true freshmen that are coming in, I mean, it's just going to be another rebuilding.
Yeah, we're just going to roll through. And
Right.
this was supposed to be rebuilding.
Oh,
year.
yeah.
That's not how this works
Uh-uh.
here. What I've slowly realized is that, hey, our rebuilding years, let's just go win a national championship for fun.
Yeah.
It seems like the way to do it. It'll be easy.
Definitely.
No, but that's all I'm saying. It's like, oh, yeah, this is rebuilding year. We'll go to Sweet 16. Sounds fun. You know, we'll beat the number 1 seed at home. Like, it's great. That's all we could ask for. And then they packed for Seattle. They knew they were going.
Right.
That's something that you got to believe in all the way. It's just when the lights are bright and you get that same with the freshmen that we're talking in baseball.
Right.
The lights get bright. You're nervous. You got all the nerves on you, and you start slipping and making a few mistakes. That's fine. That happens. But now we learn from that mistake, and we go next year and we go further. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, exactly. I mean, like she told the media after the game against Louisville, she's like, "We weren't supposed to be here for 2 years.
Yep.
It was a fun ride. Let's go do it again next year."
Yep, we're going to do it again. We're going to keep going. That's just how it's how Coach Yo is. She's just like, we're doing this every year.
Yep.
This was fun enough for me. I'm going to do this again.
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
But at the
She'll
same
always
time,
be like that.
But at the same time, obviously they're a little disappointed when you beat the number 1 team. You
Oh,
got
yeah.
something. You had a
Oh,
chip
yeah.
on your shoulder that you can go win it all. But you could damn believe that those girls and that coaching staff is going to be ready to go next year. They're going to remember how that feeling tasted when they lost against Louisville, and they're just going to be ready to roll come SEC tournament and tournament time next year. So you could better believe that Ole Miss is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Right up there with South Carolina, LSU, and
Exactly.
Ole Miss. That sounds
Exactly.
awesome to me.
I mean, when the national media, before you take on Louisville, compares you to playing Stanford, not going up against a blue blood like Stanford.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you face LSU, Tennessee, South Carolina, take South Carolina, the number 1 team in the country that's going to probably win the national championship again, take them to overtime, and almost
beat them.
beat them. And then,
You know what's funny? I saw earlier today that South Carolina, they posted, the best starter in South Carolina history was 36-0, and it happened this past weekend. I was like, man, I wish we interrupted that so
Yeah.
bad.
for
Yeah.
real.
It would have been awesome.
Uh-huh.
You could have been 35-1. And next year, that's what's going to start happening. We're going to start taking teams down like LSU and
Yep.
South Carolina and Tennessee. That's what's going to be awesome. Is that we're going to compete. And we're competing well this year, and it's going to be. I'm so excited for our programs here.
And going off of that, I mean, just the excitement around that, the women's sport and all the other sports on campus, just bringing the fans back to the pavilion.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And just filling the pavilion back up.
That opening day is going to
Yeah.
be booked.
It's gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna be nice.
That's going to be so sweet. I'm so excited
Yeah.
about it. And it's going to be, it's going to be a fun ride the next couple of years.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for any incoming freshmen coming in. They're going to have a ball.
Uh huh.
That's what's really going to be sweet. Very lucky people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I think you look at football, you look at boys, men's basketball, women's basketball, and baseball. You got the best coaching corps in the country.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see any of those 4 coaches in any other schools that can compete with
No.
those 4 right
No.
there. I think those 4 are the king of the kings, and I think you're going to see drastic improvements because I think in the past, you talk about the Alabamas, you talk about the LSUs, you talk about the Auburns. Ole Miss has kind of always been the other team in the game, and I think you're going to see that the flip of the switch this season that Ole Miss isn't going to be the other team anymore, and Ole Miss is going to be the team now, going out and dominating, going out and getting big wins against top 10 teams and winning and going to foreign tournaments and winning national championships. So I think you're going to see, like you said, those freshmen, they're lucky people because they're going to see, I think, at least 2 national championships in their 3 national championships in their 4 years.
That's what I'm hoping for. You gotta. talking about all this, you got to tip your hat to Keith Carter.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is pulling it all together. And for our budget, if y'all don't know that we're the 23rd in the nation at budgets, we're almost half of what Texas and Texas A&M have.
Right.
And we're able to pull a better coaching core than almost any other place in the nation.
Right.
We're able to have more national championships per budget in the nation, with 2 in the past 2 years. That's insane. That doesn't happen all the time. You never win national championships like that. Georgia, Alabama, you look at them win football. That doesn't happen all the time. Those are dynasties, blue bloods. Like top of the top. That doesn't. Look at Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's another blue blood dynasty. Like, they've had amazing players. They won. Have they even won one in the college football playoff? They've won one.
They've won one.
They've won one.
2015.
2015,
Beat
exactly.
Oregon.
But you look, hey, look what we have built here. And that's just, you got to tip your cap to Keith Carter. He's building something up, and it's unbelievable what he's doing with what we have.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
And
yeah.
just for the amount of students that we have, I mean, we're the second smallest in the SEC with 18,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the best 4 coaches in the 4 main sports in the nation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
If you want to add fifth one in there, you can add Matt Mott.
Yep,
What he's
Absolutely.
doing for soccer.
Absolutely.
And it's just nuts. That's just something that
Yeah.
we have. It's unbelievable. So unbelievable what's happening here.
Yep.
And that's what's great. And I could toot our own horn, but let's go on and talk about some pro days and people going on to the draft.
Well, you had 11 people go to pro day in the main center this morning just to look out in front of the scouts and a couple of coaches for the 32 teams in the NFL.
I think I was looking earlier at some statistics that we're going through, and I think there were 29 scouts, 29 teams present,
29 teams present.
which is
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
There's only a couple schools that are able to even pull that much.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So we had 11 people compete, and on top of that, we had 3 people that went to the combine.
Combine.
Yep. So we were able to compare our scores and be able to do some results.
Yep.
So you want to read off the results?
I mean, yeah. You take, let's look at Zach Evans, running back. Ran a 4.45 his first 40-yard dash, and then ran a 4.52. His 20-yard shuttle was a 4.26.
I mean, that's just stud numbers up.
Yeah. He didn't do the bench press.
Which I understand. I mean, he's been
Yeah.
hurt, and let him do it.
And the vertical jump he did was 33.5.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's insane. And then a broad jump of 10.1.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, he's going to be a stud, too. And I forget
Yeah.
that he was 4 people that were invited to the combine. One
Right.
person didn't go. Excuse
Right.
me. Let me correct myself. And then you have, Mingo, who performed out. Let's read off whatever Mingo did.
Mingo today was just did the 20-yard shuttle at 4.27 and 3-cone drill at 7.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he did it. So what he ended up doing was just go, hey,
Right.
let me show you what I can improve on and what I've did, because his numbers at the combine
His numbers
were
at the combine were nuts.
No reason to prove yourself again. That's only hurting yourself.
He had 4.46 at the combine, 40. So I
Yeah.
mean, you don't
need to touch
yet.
that. Yeah, that's all good. I'm
And,
all good.
these scouts, they know that. They've watched him. They have him on their big boards, and they're aware of what he can do. So he went out there. He performed the way he should have. He needed to go do at least something to show
and
these
He
teams.
went and caught some balls.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks shifty like
He
he's
did.
always been.
Yeah.
He is shifty. I mean, you compare him to AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and our high class caliber of wide receivers coming
Right.
through. That should show you the caliber of where he is.
Right.
Well, he's the same. I mean, he
Oh,
is
yeah.
so good.
I mean, going back to Mingo, he talked to the media afterwards about how he went out to Arizona and trained with the people that also trained DK, AJ.
Yeah.
Just how he looks up to them. But Malik Heath today, just 12 bench reps, 32 and a half on vertical jump. I mean,
All right, so let me talk about something that might be a little controversial. Well, let's talk about AJ Finley.
yeah.
I think that he's going to be a higher draft
I
pick.
think
I
so
think he's going to be
too.
one of the highest draft picks out of the entire class that's leaving. I think he'll be number 3 drafted overall out of our group of guys.
I mean, out of the Senior Bowl games that he played in, he was just unreal.
He's a stud. He's a leader on the field.
Right.
You look at that all the time. He is a leader on the field. He is smart as a whip. you go and you think, oh, he's a football player is smart. No, he goes and he does his own classes.
Mm-hmm.
He's an accounting major at the University of Mississippi, which is nuts. That's one of our hardest majors that we have
Right.
here on campus. He's done that all with no tutoring, playing a full football schedule, and being able to do that year long, as well as training to go to the NFL. This kid is smart as a whip. He's able to get on the field, be a leader, tell people where to be, and call his own plays if he needs to call an audible, if they call an audible. He's able to do it all. I mean, he is amazing. Just if you want to read off some stats about him.
Yeah,
he's nuts.
AJ, broad jump of 9'11", vertical jump of 35.5, which is insane.
It's insane.
4.51 on a 40-yard dash first attempt. Second attempt was like 4.47.
That's awesome. I mean, just again, this just reiterates how good of a player he is. And I love AJ.
And then a 20
Such a good dude.
20-yard shuffle of 4.24.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
you think he can get across the field? I bet you he can get across
He
the
can get
field.
across the field.
Now, the only problem with AJ is he's a little small.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, just,
He is the perfect size for a rover on an NFL
no,
team.
no doubt.
And he's quick enough to. He can play linebacker. He can switch back to a rover. He can go to free safety. He can go. He can even. He's shifty enough and quick enough to be a corner if they really want to play some.
But that's
He's a
what I
dynamic
thought
threat.
he would be decent at. You put him out on an island,
Oh,
at
God.
corner.
He's able to cover.
He covered.
And he's smart enough to know exactly what's happening, what's going
Yeah.
on. I mean, it's crazy, and he's going to be a higher draft pick than anybody's going to really think.
Right, and like you said, like look what he's done. Like when you put him on that island, look what happened when you did that Lane Kiffin put him out there last year against Texas A&M on national
Exactly.
TV.
Yeah.
With that pick six at the very end to seal it up.
Yep.
I mean, those NFL scouts were watching those games, I'm
Oh,
sure.
no doubt.
And those NFL scouts know that he shines when the lights are the brightest. And so for him to have that and know that he can play wherever and he can play well in high intensity moments will be huge for his draft stock.
Oh yeah,
Was Katie Hill competing?
he was.
Let's talk a little bit about Katie Hill. So Katie Hill's a very, very good player. One of those I felt like was a snub for the combine, but just let's hear about his stats and how he did, because I've heard that he's done pretty good. I haven't actually seen.
29 bench reps
Yeah.
Cool.
today. 30 vertical jump.
Okay.
8.3 on a broad jump.
Yeah.
For Katie Hill, this is gonna be fast, unbelievable. Of 5.01.
Yeah.
40.
And was he 310 pounds, 300 pounds?
300,
I mean, just
310.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome about him is that he's so strong and dynamic. He's able to push some people around. And sure, he's not the biggest guy out there, but he's somebody that competes. And I'm excited about him. I believe that he'll get drafted in the later rounds.
Oh,
but
yeah,
he'll
no
definitely
doubt.
a draft pick that's going somewhere.
And
He's got it.
And a 4.69 20-yard shuffle.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
A 4.69, and you got to think. You look at AJ Finley, who was a 4.24.
Yeah.
So a 4.24, and then you're comparing. He's only 0.4 seconds slower than
Right.
one of our best corners going into the draft.
Right.
That's crazy. A defensive line.
It's 300 pounds too. You
Yeah.
got to remember. I mean, that's not a small guy
No,
moving out there.
no,
That
no.
that is a machine out
Yep.
there
He might hit
moving that
the
way.
Hesse on somebody to go
Right.
get
Oh,
a
yeah.
sack. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
he looked awesome. And I believe that's everybody that
That's
we
the
haven't
guy-
really talked on.
Nick Broker's the other one.
Yeah, Nick
but-
Broker competed a little bit more. but
Nick
he
did 23 reps. On
yeah,
bench
23 reps, which is he got 24 in the
He
combine.
had 24 in the combine.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that means that he's consistent and comparable.
Yeah.
And he was able to show off his skills a little
Oh,
bit.
he
I
was.
watched a little bit of what he did, but I know exactly what Nick Broker's about. Everybody that watches Ole Miss football knows what he's about.
Him moving to guard this year was really good for him because he's showing that he can play several different positions to NFL.
Yeah, he's going to be able to
Teams.
do it all, which
Yeah.
is going to be awesome. That's all you can ask for.
And
Yeah.
NFL scouts will love this. Like we were talking about earlier for baseball, older guys stepping up and being a leader. When you think of a leader at Ole Miss, that's who you think of.
Oh yeah,
You think of him being that leader for the younger guys, being the leader for those guys that haven't had as much experience. So NFL scouts will love to see that leadership in him and that ability to grow.
I mean, yeah, they did very well. I'm just excited to see where they all end up and how well they're going to do in the future. I mean, we have a solid 11 guys that look
yeah.
amazing. And, maybe all of them will end up on a team, for sure. Maybe not all of them get drafted, but I think 10 out of the 11 for sure get drafted.
Oh, no doubt.
It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
It's one of the best classes to come out of Ole Miss, and it talks about the people that we're losing. But then you look at Lane Kiffin bringing people in,
yeah.
and then you look at Pete Golden, and he's bringing people in.
Yep.
And that's what's going to be awesome about next year is that we have people to refill. This would have been a killer class for us in the past. But now that we're able to bring in these skill players and able to bring in defense, this is going to be perfect, and we have people that are going to be able to come up and be able to start and make a stance for opening day. It's going to be awesome for us.
No doubt. Well, I think that's going to be it for us this week. We appreciate you tuning in. Check with us next week for what's in store with baseball moving forward.
Thank you.